You've already picked a side. Everyone does. The second you hear grizzly bear versus silverback gorilla, some part of your brain locks in. Team bear or team gorilla, and it won't let go. Here's the problem. The honest answer isn't one winner. It's two, and they contradict each other. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why both are true. You've probably typed grizzly bear versus gorilla into a search bar at some point and gotten a million hot takes with almost no straight answer. So here's the promise. We're going to run this fight twice, under two different conditions, with real numbers on the table. Weight, bite force in PSI, claw length, bone density, the whole tale of the tape. One version ends in under 60 seconds. The other one ends with the bear walking away. Same two animals. And the single number that flips the whole thing? Most people never even think to check it. We'll get to it. That's the part that'll stick with you. Let me introduce the two of them properly, because the details matter here. Take the grizzly bear first. Adult male, North American, somewhere between 400 and 600 pounds at peak condition. Call our guy 500. Barrel chest. And that hump on the shoulders? That's not fat. That's a slab of pure muscle anchoring the front legs, and it powers the single most dangerous thing on this animal, the forelimbs. Each paw ends in 4 curved claws, 8 to 10 centimeters long, non-retractable, built like railroad spikes. His bite lands somewhere around 975 psi. His personality? Not angry, just impassive. Unstoppable. A predator that hasn't needed to change in a very long time. Now, the silverback gorilla. Adult male western lowland, 350 to 450 pounds. Say 400. And don't let that lower number fool you, because pound for pound, this thing is terrifying. Shoulders like a doorway. Arm span pushing 8.5 feet. That silver saddle of fur across the back is a badge. It means fully mature, dominant, the boss of everything he can see. His bite? Actually harder than the bear's, around 1300 psi, with canines that… Wait, here's the part most people miss. Those canines are huge, but they're display weapons. They evolved to intimidate rival males and strip tough bark and vegetation because the gorilla is a herbivore. Sit with that. The animal with the bigger bite number on paper has teeth built for plants. That's the whole fight in one sentence. Hold on to it. So, is a silverback gorilla stronger than a grizzly bear? In one very specific way, yes. Pulling strength. A silverback's upper body is a hydraulic system built for hauling its own weight through trees and bending small saplings like straws. Grip that can snap branches thicker than your arm without effort. Estimates put a gorilla at several times stronger than a trained human. That grip and that pull are genuinely off the charts. Keep that in the back of your mind. It barely matters in the clearing, but it changes character completely in the forest. That's coming. But strength isn't the question. The question is, who would win, a silverback gorilla or a grizzly bear? And winning a fight isn't a deadlift. It's damage, applied fast to the right place. Look at the defensive stats. The grizzly carries a thick hide, a dense fur coat, and a fat layer under it all. Natural armor over the neck and shoulders, exactly where a fight gets decided. Rear up on the hind legs, and he stands 8–9 feet tall, and now he's got reach and downward leverage with those claws. The gorilla is powerful, but comparatively compact, low to the ground, and his skin doesn't have that same padding. And here's something that never makes the highlight reel. Bone density. The gorilla's skeleton is genuinely dense, heavy bone built to anchor all that muscle. And its skull is thick. That's real protection for the head against blunt trauma. But dense bone does very little against 10-centimeter claws. Those don't bruise you, they open you. Different problem entirely. And speed. People always forget speed. A grizzly hits close to 35 miles an hour in a charge. The gorilla tops out around 20 to 25, and can't sustain it. On open ground, the bear controls the distance, always. Which brings us to the X factor, the single decider. And it's not size. It's not even the bite. It's this. One of these animals kills for a living. The other one has never killed anything in its life. And think about where the damage lands. A predator's killing bite goes for the throat, the base of the skull, the spine. It's targeted. A gorilla bite in a fight is a panic bite, wherever it can reach, meant to make an enemy let go, not to end it. Same style jaws, completely different software. Every tool on the grizzly, the claws, the jaw, the mass behind the swipe, is a purpose-built killing system, tested on elk, on moose, on other bears. The silverback's entire arsenal evolved for social dominance, bluffing, wrestling for status, winning fights he doesn't need to finish because rival gorillas back down. His whole strategy assumes his opponent will submit. A grizzly does not submit. That's the mismatch. It's a champion boxer versus a creature that has never actually thrown a punch to end something. And there's one thing about how a grizzly actually thinks, not how it fights, how it thinks, that becomes the whole ball game later. Park that thought. So on paper, on neutral ground, this looks done. And it is. But here's what's been bugging me the whole time I researched this. Everything on the stat card so far says the bear ends this in under 60 seconds. So why does the exact same fight, moved 4,000 miles into the silverback's own black canopy forest, end with the grizzly backing off instead? Same animals, same health, completely different result. Hold that question. We run that version second. First, let's actually run it. The silverback gorilla versus grizzly bear real fight everyone argues about. Neutral ground, open clearing, daylight, both animals full health, first time either has ever seen the other, and, this matters, neither one can leave. This is the pure grizzly bear versus silverback gorilla fight, no terrain helping anybody. The gorilla goes first because that's what he knows. He rises, he beats his chest. That sound carries for a kilometer. He slaps the ground, he bluff charges. Against another gorilla, this is a winning opening. The rival flinches. Fight basically over. The bear does not flinch. The grizzly reads the charge as a threat and answers the only way it knows, with the front end. First swipe from that shoulder hump lands with enough force to break bone, claws raking across the gorilla's shoulder and chest. The gorilla, no coward, closes and grabs. This is his moment, the clinch, all that pulling power, and he bites down, 1,300 psi into the bear's neck, and he hits that armor. Hide, fur, fat. He draws blood. He does not hit anything that ends the fight. The bear doesn't fight standing. He drives forward, uses 500 pounds and that downward leverage, pins the smaller animal, and goes to work with claws and jaw on the exposed underside. And this is the brutal truth of it. The gorilla's best weapon buys him a wound. The bear's best weapon buys him the kill. Under a minute. Roughly 9 times out of 10, the grizzly wins, and wins fast. That's the honest verdict on neutral ground. So would a silverback gorilla beat a grizzly bear in that clearing? No, not once in 10 tries. I know that's not what Team Gorilla wants to hear. Now, pick the whole thing up and drop it 4,000 miles east. Dense Virunga montane forest. High altitude, thick vegetation, near black under a closed canopy in the middle of the day. Visibility down to a few meters, sound bouncing everywhere. This is a different planet from that sunny clearing. And this time, it's the silverback's home. He's got his troops somewhere behind him. And crucially, there's an open escape route. Nobody's trapped. Everything changes. And this is the part that flips the fight. In here, the gorilla detects the intruder first. He clocks the bear at maybe 10 meters in vegetation he knows and the bear doesn't. He acts first. That chest beat and that scream. In an enclosed black forest with a troop to defend isn't a bluff the bear can easily call. The silverback comes in fast and low through cover, hammers, and vanishes back into the dark before the bear can line up that fight-ending swipe. This is the beat that changes everything. On the open plain, the bear dictates. In here, The bear has lost its sightlines, lost its speed, lost the initiative. For the first time, it's reacting instead of hunting. And here's where that thought I told you to park pays off. A grizzly isn't suicidal. It's a calculating predator that constantly weighs energy against reward. Getting screamed at, ambushed, and hit by a 400-pound resident it can barely see, in terrain that kills its speed and its reach advantage over a clearing that isn't even its territory and holds no food it needs? The bear does the math, and the math says leave. This encounter doesn't end with a dead gorilla. It ends with a grizzly deciding this patch of forest isn't worth it and backing off. So, grizzly bear versus silverback gorilla, who would win? Here's the payoff, and here's the number most people never check. It was never about the animals. Both verdicts are true because they answer two different questions. Ask who wins the fight, a straight, trapped, neutral ground brawl, and it's the grizzly bear. 9 out of 10. Its predator toolkit is simply on another level, and no amount of gorilla pulling strength changes what happens when a killing machine meets an animal built to make rivals submit. But ask who wins the encounter. On home turf, first move, escape open, and the silverback gorilla takes it. Not by killing the bear, by making the fight cost more than it's worth and sending it home. The mistake almost everyone makes, the one number they get wrong, isn't bite force or body weight. It's forgetting to ask which question they're even answering. Fight or encounter. Trapped or free. Neutral dirt or home ground. Change that one variable, and you flip the winner without touching a single stat on either animal. So next time you see grizzly bear versus silverback gorilla thrown around like there's one clean answer, there isn't.
There are two, and the person who understands both just won the argument before it started. If that reframed it for you even a little, drop a like. It genuinely tells YouTube to put this in front of the next person mid-argument about it. And we've got a whole shelf of these showdowns if you want to keep going. But I want your verdict. Neutral ground, trapped, no escape. Are you still Team Gorilla? And be honest, did the forest version change your pick? Or do you think that bear stands its ground and finishes it anyway? Tell me down below. Pick a side and defend it.